Welcome back to another episode of Red Hill Racing Podcast. I'm Ben Knight here with your co-host Dustin Lee. What's going on, Dustin?
Feeling like a villain and working all day.
That's right. We're a little bit late getting one going for this week, mostly because Dustin's been sick as a dog, and he jumped on and did two last week, and then I almost died in a car accident on Friday. So it's kind of recovering from a concussion, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he had a fender bender, got T-boned, and then I thought I was going to die from sinus pressure. So we both had a rough. I worked through it and stuff, but it was pretty rough. I got through. I'm good now. I'm on the downhill slope. I got a little sinus nosy noise, but other than that, and I feel like $1,000,000.
It's a rough week for us, man, or the last week as of today.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. But we're here. We're here kicking. I thought you were
That's
going to
right.
do a cool sound effect when I told you I got in an accident.
You didn't hear it?
No.
Oh no,
No,
we've
did we
done.
mess the settings up?
Oh man, I'm going back. I'm going back to the old ones.
Right now you're going to him?
You dang right, I'm going
Well,
to
I
them.
didn't hear it. Try it again.
I just now went back to it. Here we are.
Oh, it's way loud. Oh,
Good and loud.
it
There
was
we are.
loud as shit. That's
Yeah,
gonna
I
blow
can turn
people's speakers out.
the volume is up on my phone, so that would probably cause that. I am sorry for your ears that I just now damaged.
They're pretty
I just now
bad.
turned it down halfway. So I did try a new setting because we noticed the last show. The sound, you could hear me great, which was really the number one thing. But
For
it
sure.
wasn't as
Crisp.
like yours, sounds like all we hear is you. Well, mine, it sounded like you could hear me opening up a cough drop or two. You could hear me sometimes, maybe blowing the microphone with my nose because I was probably gritting my teeth because my head hurt so bad. Whatever. So I turned we have microphone settings and it has like an auto, background noise that it does itself, which was the one that made me fade and come back and forth. So then I put it on low, which is where we've been the last show. So this time I tried medium, and we thought it was good. Ben heard them before we started recording, and then he just now told me he didn't hear it, so I just put it right back on low. So I'm low, and you might hear me tapping my desk or something. I apologize. Sitting here for 2 or 3
Yeah.
hours isn't easy. So,
Well, we'll give it another
for,
shot. Steven tried to
yeah,
say that it wasn't as crisp, and we were gonna try to.
I
Well,
oh
you already changed the settings.
I did turn my gain down
Okay.
before we started recording. That was the first thing I did, so that might
We'll
help.
see if we can get that settled for this then.
Yeah.
Housekeeping stuff. Do we have any apologies from last episode? I don't think so. No, that was Sonny's
No.
interview. So
You know what? I ain't apologizing for nothing. Welcome to the show.
as
It's like a
always.
Walmart. Wait, I'm gonna give a warning. Cuss words might happen. Yada yada. You know
Yeah,
how it
that's what I was
rolls
gonna
up in
say.
here.
That's what I was going with next.
If it's like Walmart, get your shit and get out.
Oh man. Well, yeah, we're probably already past the NSFW, not safe for work. We're gonna curse. Sorry, guys.
Damn, I could have bleeped that myself with my phone, man.
I know you're still not on it.
Man.
Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to our loyal sponsors who have come on board right from the get go. I mean, this is episode 8, maybe. I don't even know. But
7 or 8. Yep.
they've been here, jumped on early. So we appreciate it. MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, MTC Engineering, Platinum General Services, Manchester Mines, Montgomery Motorsports, Hard Times Parts and Service, Night Marketing Group, University of Wynn, and BMF Components for now. We got a couple more in the
Yeah,
works.
my old Mike, Mr. BMF Components, he was giving me a hard time today on the phone. Be like, when's the next podcast, man? You give us a bonus one now. I'm like, dude, we're going to record one tonight. Just chill out. Give me some time.
Yeah. He
I,
also has to decide, like, we've been talking about doing a website for him, so he's
yeah.
going to have to decide, does he want to hear me talk on a podcast or does he want a website done?
Yeah, we got to work, man. We got to work. And I've been, even though I was sick, I've been pretty busy. I mean, I
You've been
built,
busting
I got
ass.
I got my bottom end together from my Top Sports and Bike, even though there was a couple of times I was seeing twinkle stars in my eyes when I was doing it. I hope it stays together. I done it a different way. I'll talk about that a second to kill, get some talking time, I guess.
Yeah.
Normally the OEM manual, you put a Busa bottom end together, and then you put your pistons on the cylinder. Well, I tried it the way a lot of guys do it, where you put the cylinder on the top case, and then you, of course, you go ahead and check your bearings and all that. Then you put your piston and rod to the cylinder, and then slide it up and bolt it to your crank, and then finish your bottom end, and then put the bottom case. I done it that way. A little different. I
Huh.
don't know if I would change my life for it or not, but
Yeah, I've
it
never
was
done it
different.
that way. I see what you're saying though now. I
Like
saw
a
you
car,
posted
kind
or
of.
talking about that, and I was like, I didn't really understand what you were talking about, but now I get it. So yeah, I
Yeah,
see
it's
that.
like,
I'm like you. I've always done it the other way.
yeah. I mean, I've used
Slide
to
the
when my
block
dad,
over the pistons and everything.
yeah, I worked at a salvage yard my whole life. You build dirt bikes or any kind of older bike with a roller bearing style crank, you bottom end, cylinder, head. That's just the way it is. And so for me, a lot of people have a hard time getting the rings in the. It's hard. 1 and 4 is easy, but when you roll it up to get 2 and 3 in the cylinder, it's tight. There's not a lot of room there, and it is difficult. But I'm pretty good at it because I've done it my whole life. And I don't
Popsicle
think.
sticks. You
Yeah, well,
use those?
I use a real small straightway screwdrivers, and then I got one rubber handled bigger screwdriver to tap the piston to like rock it, to cock it, to pull the rings up in there, and I just.
Rocket and cock it. All right.
Yeah, I mean, my dad taught me that, and it's always worked for me. I've never, knock on wood, you probably hear this.
I do
I've
hear it.
never, I never have broke a ring. I folded an O-ring one time, and I'm going to give an excuse for that. I had no heat in my garage, and it was like 30 degrees in there, and my fingers were numb. And man, I was trying to get it on so I could go inside and get warm,
Yeah.
and I folded one of them babies. Luckily, it was a stock one, so I had plenty of those laying around.
Well,
But
look, I've never had any piston rings, and you've done it way more than times than I have, but I've never had any rings, give me such a fit like getting a damn valve cover off. So
man,
I'll leave it at that.
so
And I know we've talked about that in the past episode because F those valve
yeah,
covers.
yeah, the last I took the valve cover off my bracket bike motor, when I tore it apart, probably back at the end of last year, and I had to took this pair of valves off the covers and squirted like a PB blaster down in there to try to like get around those
Dude,
dowel pins,
I'm
and
telling
I
you.
beat that thing with a rubber hammer. And I'm like, man, my arm was tired from beating on it. And finally, I just got mad. And I'm like, it's either going to come off or break. And I took a screwdriver and lifted it, and it moved, and it stayed up. And I knocked it back down. Then it come right back up. I'm like, oh, I've got you now. And I put antices on them. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
that's
I
the
do
beautiful
too.
thing. Like, I've had a lot of heads that's been ported and stuff. And Vance and Hines, when they do them, they weld up the pair valve deal in the port, the exhaust port. So those holes don't do nothing. So you don't get that, the moisture
Right.
from the motor getting hot and the condensation. So they don't freeze up. So my top gas motor, it's never an issue. It's not an issue. And
Well,
now
do
I
you even
have,
need those dowel pins in the middle by the pair?
probably not. You could
I
probably
mean,
also throw them in a lathe and take a little meat off of them so they're not as tight. But
that's
then
what
I'm
I'm saying.
afraid
That's what
that
I feel like is always the big deal. Those things just get corroded on those.
though, I'm afraid that they could be part of a alignment to keep your valve cover from walking and blowing the gasket out or something. So,
Hell, it's got 6 bolts in the top, right?
yeah, and then it's also got a groove gasket with the
Yeah,
half
that
moons
shit
on
ain't
each
going
side.
nowhere. Look,
I mean, I don't know. I'm
as
just
my
one of them.
uncle
If it
always
ain't broke,
says,
don't fix it. Type things. So
and this is not the uncle that's usually at the track with me, but my other uncle always says, if it ain't got no money and it ain't got no job, it ain't going nowhere.
well, it ain't got no money because I ain't got none because it's took it all. So
That's what I'm saying. That thing ain't going nowhere. It's got 6 bolts in it,
yeah,
and that groove gasket is good. What are we going to
yeah.
talk about tonight? Tell everybody. We're going to talk
It's
about
go.
racetrack food.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little random. Just
Yeah.
good old Dustin and Ben BSing. We're going to talk about some racetrack food or food at certain areas where the racetracks is at, and then some tracks that have good food.
Yeah.
And we might even talk about a little
Have
bit about things to have at the rate, like things you need to take to the racetrack. What do you got to load up in your trailer? What do you need to have when you go racing?
Yeah. And then have we
And we're
talked about like our favorite racetracks before? Did we already do that?
kinda. I mean, of
A little
course, me
bit.
and you both said that Rockingham was like a little, Maryland is mine,
Yeah,
and
we're
you said
partial.
Rockingham was yours. Yeah,
Yeah. We were talking about when
yeah,
we were telling stories, I reckon.
yeah. I mean, we talked about some of
It
our
probably
favorite
makes sense.
tracks.
We might touch
But
on that a little bit, but yeah, we're going to talk about some food tonight because, as we mentioned at the onset of this, we're just kind of coming off a rough week, so we're
Yeah, and
we're
we'll
truly
knock
winging it tonight.
we'll knock this out real quick too. So, was it Paul Phillips that messaged the group or page or whatever
Yeah,
about
Paul had some
the
questions.
rules?
Yeah.
Okay, so he had a questions which kind of is makes sense because some places word it differently and on the
Right.
like the class rules and where you fit in and how you fit in. Is your bike legal for this class? And me and Ben just kind of glanced over them real quick, like for XDA and Man Cup. And from what we've seen, like for Street ET per se, I think that was one of his questions. Is like the
Yeah.
clutch rules. Maybe he talked to you, I think. And Man Cup and XDAs are pretty straightforward. The biggest thing is some series will label it like it has to be lever activated.
Yeah.
RPM lockups are allowed, which would be a Gen 2, a Haze, a Rock. And then wheel speed lockups, old school like Gen 1's MTCs is, of course, allowed.
Yeah.
But some series don't allow none of them. If you ever have like a question, if you fit in rules or whatever, and it's like a certain part, like a clutch or whatever, you could email one of us or email the series. Most of them have like a contact email on their websites, or if you know the person that runs the series, you could always just message them or something on
Yeah.
Facebook. Maybe some of them don't do that, but either way, you can get answers.
Yeah,
For
we'd
the
be
most
glad
part,
to
those
answer
are
him.
like
Sorry.
pro classes have like lists of rules, right? So if you're like those classes, I think if you run the class, you know what's up. And
No,
like
some
the
people don't.
really, I know, well, they play with that gray area a little bit. And then all the sportsman classes, the only one that has like rules is Street ET. Like 560 or Super Comp, really anything kind of goes. You just got to follow the safety and general rules. Um, Man Cup now, we back to the diaper drama. We've done been there. Diapers, got to look at those rules. So since we're talking about things to take the track with you, we're going to say this: make sure that you know the rules and the classes you're going to race, and make sure that your bike is ready to go. Headlights, taillights if are required, all that stuff, tethers, whatever's got to be on your bike. Make sure it's there before you go to the racetrack. Nobody wants to drive 6-7 hours and then you ain't got something, and then you got to run around trying to buy whatever you need, tape a flashlight to your bike or whatever. Um, that's kind of just a little quick help him out, and I'm sure there's other listeners that might have that same question.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
mean, Paul had a good point
yeah,
with some new
yeah,
people and some street riders and everything, and
yeah.
we went to look at the rules before we started recording tonight, and they're a lot better than they used to be honest. Because I know what was it there for a while, some of the rules said um, cl- lockup clutches allowed must stall with idle between 1500 to 2000 RPM,
That was the
and
old school, like
right.
NHRO. Yep,
And
yep.
so that's not very clear. Like I'm looking at the XDA rules right now, and in the clutch it says only OEM style true hand clutches are permitted. Lockup clutches of any kind, and then it has in parentheses Snowflake Gen 1, Gen 2 style. They're prohibited along with slider clutches. So I mean that's pretty clear. But no, we get
Yeah.
it, Paul. There was some confusion in past rules, and I feel like most of the series, we looked at the Man Cup rules too. They were pretty straightforward. In addition to
I made
Paul,
a
if anybody has questions about rules, send us a message or whatever, and we'll be glad to answer them, privately too.
Yeah, or email the series. I mean, they know them better than we do, for the most part. I mean, we're kind of sometimes we don't even know what's changing. You know what I mean? So, I know one time on Facebook, somebody I was at a race, long story, I'm not going to get into it, but they done something on their bike to change the rules. And after that, I put a post on Facebook and it said, know the rules, read the rules, and bleed the rules. And if you know them and you follow them, nobody can ever do anything to you that's unfair, period. So
No,
that
that's a
one's
good
done.
point. That's a good point. It's I don't feel like enough people go through the rule books for even for what
Yeah.
we're talking about. I mean, as you mentioned, I raced Real Street I've raced it a couple times, a couple years, and man, you guys start getting into the pro class rule book. I mean, it's 12 pages long. So,
Well, I'll say what the guy done this time real quick. I'm not going to say no names, but he had deep on his tail section. So when he went to stage, the starter held the tree for him, and all the classes are auto start. So I was about to back out. And then he finally got top bulb off and the tree fell. And I was like 200 on the tree because I was like, what's going on? Like, he should have timed out, but the starter was holding it. And I was like, hey, we got to rerun that. And they're like, why? I was like, because auto start was off. The starter held the tree. And, you know, a lot of these tracks you go to, the starters are used to weekend programs that might be what they do there. If it has deep on the window or side of the motorcycle, they hold it. But when you're
Right.
running a series, you got to follow those rules. So it's an honest mistake for the starter. Maybe kind of possibly an honest mistake for the other person. But either way, it wasn't the rules. So we had to rerun it. And then we rerun it, and guess what? I lost. So should have just loaded my junk up. But
um I do want to let's go over a little bit though about just kind of classes in general though. It probably isn't a bad thing to get into a little bit, you know, when you're looking at classes that you may want to run as a new racer or someone that's not as experienced. Basically, it's going to come down to two style classes. You're going to have your ET classes, also known as bracket racing, and that's where you're dialing in, you know, you're kind of predicting your ET. They're usually broken up into two simple classes, either street ET or pro ET, or also kind of called either box or no box. So
pretty
those are
much.
that's kind of where you get on the bracket racing side, ET racing side, and your boxes for delay boxes.
And
And
back to the clutch deal. Just because it's called street ET, don't mean it's a street bike off the street. It means it's street style motorcycles bracket racing. For the love of God, because
oh
there's
man,
even an XDA with the stock clutch rules. None of those bikes are road ridden daily riders. They're race
most of
bikes.
them
Let's be
aren't.
real.
Most of
Yeah,
them aren't.
let's be real. I mean, you got an air shifter. What do you need an air shifter for on the road? You don't
And
need
be
that.
getting it on the street, son. Hey, I used to ride
Yeah.
my bike before I had a trailer from my
Well,
townhouse to the track, and I'd hit that air
before
shifter.
my motorcycle's fully dressed out there, ready to go racing. I'm pulling that baby out and I'm gonna mount my GoPro on it and I'm taking her for a ride and I'm gonna show everybody what a street bike does.
Do it,
I'm
do
gonna
it.
do it. I'm gonna post it on Facebook, be like, man, she's just old street bike, you know. You can go get some milk, bread, whatever you gotta do on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
The other class style of racing is index racing. And
Mm-hmm.
really, the main difference between that and the regular ET slash bracket classes is that it's a predetermined ET you're trying to achieve. So, for
Everybody dialing the
example,
same thing. Everybody
yeah,
dials the same.
everybody's trying to run the same thing, so you don't have to worry about a dial in. For example, 560 at XDA. Goal is to run 560. Same kind of rules as bracket racing. You go too fast, you lose. Unless you know you both go under, then who does it worse? So
Who the bad dude in 560 though?
I don't know. I've never heard of anybody being good at 560.
Really? I
Man, I
mean, I
used
am
to be
like,
bad back in the day, but
hey,
that was
hey, I
before you ran it, I guess.
I mean, I've won every STBA 560 Super Cup championship since it's been open, and I won the past three XDAs. So I'm just saying.
Look, I wish I had a crate to stand on to talk some shit back to you, but I don't, man. I suck on Pro Tree anymore.
Well, I'm just waiting on somebody to just mop me up one year, and I know one person that runs 560 that I think if he come to every race, he would get me. I truly, truly think that he could do it. He is an outstanding racer, great kid. His dad's a pro mod legend. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. He probably would wax
I'm gonna
your
say
ass.
it, Braden Davis. He's a bad kid. Every time I've raced him, man, it's been barn burners, and I want to say he's won most of them. But
I
he,
remember that last one. I was like, I seen it coming. I was like, oh shit, that ain't good.
he was in the final, and he just hokey
Yeah,
doked me, man. That
he
thing,
was bad, man. I was
that
up
I
there
run
watching on my
around him, and I
scooter.
was getting out of it. That old bar box said, "Nah, I got some power getting ready to come in. Here come that time," and I was just like a duck, quack quack. He run right around me. I had the tree, had everything, just
You
over
lifted too
raced it.
early. I seen it. I
Yeah,
was like, oh
yeah,
man,
just like
no,
Fast
no.
and Furious. Too soon.
Yep.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
I said, man, that thing got nitrous on it. He goes, no. His daddy goes, no, it ain't got no nitrous. I said, what about technician time? And he just smiled. I said, uh-huh. You putting timing in that baby down yonder. Come around me. Come on.
Well, also, here's the thing, you know, and this here's a good shining example of University of Wind type stuff. You got to look at bar bikes a little different, you know, than street bikes. Because a lot of times, especially if you're not used to running them, I mean, which I'm not saying this was the case for you, but with the rake of a drag bike, you might be looking over at the person thinking you're kind of
Yeah,
dead
yeah,
even,
true.
and then that front end stuck out there on you.
Very true. In his situation, I went by the increments down track, which is also a
No,
university went thing.
you lifted too
Yeah,
early.
yeah.
I was on my scooter watching.
Yeah, I made a boo boo there. And also, some of them old school bikes, they got big old gangster motors and some throttle stops on them, and they just open them blades up down track. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that could be done. I made a mistake, but I'm telling you right now, if I could tell you one person that could dethrone me, which I'm cool with because he's a great kid, I'm all right with competition. He is the one. I kind of hope he listens to these because he'll be like, I see him now, a little country boy. He'll have his little smile on. He ready to go. He is his whole family's great people, and he is tough. Like he is. When I see him show up, I'm like, man, I better have my ducks in a row today.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times I'm like, man, if I can just, I know if I get to the final, it's going to be with him. That's what I always tell myself, because he's tough. He's a good racer. You just got to be aware of that. You can't go up there and be slacking on somebody like that.
Right.
You got to get after it.
And I was good when I was riding Marion's bar bike, and when I rode your uncle's bar bike that one time. Like on a bar bike, I can cut a light on a
because they leave.
Yeah, they leave, and I can cut a light. But man, on a street bike, I suck on a.
For the listeners, a street bike, most of them don't react as quick because two things. So most of them have a shock, 99% of them. So you have travel of your back of your motorcycle going down before it goes forward, according to how the shock's set up. For the most part, they still got to squat some. Then you have the factor that a lot of people don't think about that I do is the cush drive has rubbers, right? So that rubber has to like mash before it actually pulls the wheel. So there's a delay in that, no matter how you figure it. There's a delay. And all that is slowing your reaction
Flinging
time.
a lever or sliding a clutch. I mean,
yeah, that kind of happens quick, but the biggest, the lever, I mean, it's all about where the leader, if you let your clutch out and you feel where it loads, you can preload it and eliminate the slack, I guess, which is a delay. But a big thing is just the chassis has to absorb it has to go through its motions to go forward, where a bar bike is solid mount sprocket. There ain't no shock, there ain't nothing. As soon as you come off that button, it's got to go. It's moving. The only thing you have a delay in is a tire wrinkle. That's it, And that's just some good old drag racing knowledge. And and you guys, I'm sure they can tell I feel better. Like I feel like I could tell I can feel better. Like I can tell that I feel better. I mean, I still got this little nosy thing going on, but other than that,
you need some Juju Mufu smelling salts.
Man, let's see. 3 nights ago, I was laying in the bed and I was so tired I couldn't hold my eyes open. But when I closed my eyes, when I closed my eyes, I was just that ringing in my ears, and my head was just like my heartbeat was in it. And the weirdest thing ever with this cold was my teeth ached. They ached, but they also, like if I gritted them, it felt good, like they itched. And dude, it was that was probably driving me the most crazy was the itching.
I went to
teeth. I chewed on everything I could. Like I was holding pins and chewed on the end of them, tapping my teeth with my vape. Like I was just doing it all. And I went in the medicine cabinet, and I don't know. I grabbed, this is a big word for me, plethora of stuff, and took it, and it was like everything just went away. Woke up the next day and it was all gone. I don't know which pill was the magic one, but it
Concoction.
worked.
That's what I do. That's what I do. Anytime I feel something coming on, I'm like, man, I don't know if this one might feel like it's going to try and hang out. Like I'll run to the pharmacy and I'll just buy like 4 or 5 different things. And like Mucinex and like allergy stuff, and
that's the deal. Is like,
dude, I mix all that shit together. I do not obey the instructions.
Me neither. No, and all my go-to stuff was like out of stock. I'm like, man, that one thing, like the cough drops. There's these chloroseptics or whatever. Like it pretty much numbs your throat, and that's the only thing I've ever had that would like eliminate a sore throat. Out of stock. They wasn't none, so I couldn't get them. I was like, man, everything that I know works great for me when I get sick, there's not. So I was just buying random stuff. I probably spent $150 in just over-the-counter drugs.
That's the bad part. It adds up quick.
Yeah, and I just mixed it. I went to our cabinet from stuff I don't know how long we've had, and I just started putting it all, taking them, opening them up, and putting it in a pile, and I just put it all in my mouth and drunk water behind it. And I was like watching TV and like resting my eyes because I was so tired, and all of a sudden I opened my eyes, and I'm like, oh man, everything's gone. And I went run up the stairs like I'm going to bed. And I woke up and it was just like The good Lord put his hand on my shoulder and said, "All right, you about to buckle. I'm gonna let you off." And he did. He took care of me. I ain't gonna lie. I prayed. I was like, "God, just get this through me. I'm about to go to the doctor," which is a big deal for me.
Yeah, I can tell we're gonna ramble tonight because I don't even know what we were talking about to get to this point.
We was talking about classes and the styles of classes like
Oh, see,
ET.
yeah, yeah. Got so
And we
So
were
yeah,
talking
just to kind
about
of close that up,
index stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
just index. I mean, you're most index classes. I'm trying to think, is there even an index class that you can think of now that has any? Like, for example, Crazy Eights that used to be street bikes, street style bikes, but I don't
Hmm.
even know of anything like 560 bar bikes, sliders, non
Yeah,
like
950 has changed over to bar boxes in it. 560's got bar box in it. Top Gas has bar box in it.
in
Um,
street bikes. So yeah, I don't think there's any
yep,
class currently
yep. Yeah,
index
the
wise.
NHDRO has that Dirty 30, which is 930 index, and they're mixed. So, and the reason being is this those classes aren't about, well, you got to be able to ride this stock clutch and manipulate the clutch and cut a light and hit your shift points. It's about racing. That's what it's about, and they're trying to have full fields, good class counts to keep the sport alive, and that's what they're doing. And I support it two thousand
Yeah.
percent.
No, I was just trying to think like, as Paul had mentioned, just if you're
Yeah,
unsure of what class you can get fit in, really it comes down to this. When you're planning a bike build, you need to know beforehand and figure out how fast you want the bike to be able to go. That's really
yeah,
what it comes down to because the classes we're talking about, ET, it doesn't matter, right? Like you can dial whatever you want. Well,
yeah.
there are some parameters, but we're not going to get into that. There's sometimes like a max or a minimum ET, but anyways, for the most part, you can dial whatever you want. But you need to figure out, hey, am I trying to build a bike that can run super comp, which is an 890 quarter mile index and a 560 eighth mile.
Yeah.
So, or am I trying to run top gas, which is 820 quarter mile and
Get
510
your
eighth?
checkbook out.
So, well, yeah, but it just comes down to, how fast are you trying to go and is there a certain class for that?
And
So,
if you want to race a class that is a street bike that looks like one that you see riding through town on a Friday night, and you want to show that you can ride a motorcycle, super stock. You can run super
yeah.
stock, but you better not eat taters a lot because you're going to get gapped by them little skinny guys. And if you fat and you like eating taters and you want to show off your talents, there's one called Real Street. You can go get you some nitrous or a turbo and then go out there and flex your muscle. But you're probably going to get gapped if you ain't careful. Simple as that.
Hey, there's people that do good. Mike Davis, he's a bad man on the
I wish
super
he
stock
listened to
bike.
these. I've been giving him a hard time. One day he sent me a picture of his number 2 plaque. I said, "Man, that's a participation trophy. Get out of here."
Oh man. Mike's a bad dude, man. I met
He
him when
is.
I lived
Yeah.
in Ohio. And,
He
and
blamed it on
did
his
I,
old lady. She
did
been
I ever
feeding
tell
me
you
too
that
much.
story?
About him
How I like
doing.
kind of how I met him. Like, so Mike, and
Yeah.
for the listeners that don't know, Mike Davis, great guy, always super nice to me
He
and
makes fun of
Dustin.
how I talk.
He does, but
I make
he's
fun of how he talks too.
he's not a little guy, is what I'm trying to say, and he's not
No, he's
like
like
fat or anything.
180 pounds. He's normal. Like he's what he should be,
Well,
for
but
his body structure.
he looks built though, like he looks like somebody you wouldn't want to fight, is how I'd put it. Like he looked like he
I
could beat
wish
some
I wish I
ass.
could get his trailer on this podcast because he punched it at one XDA race, and the trailer won.
All right, well, we weren't going to that, but anyways,
I'm making him listen to this one. I was like, "You got to listen to it. I talked about you on there, man." He's gonna be like, "Dude, I hate you."
well, look, I hadn't been working at Brock's long, and we went to the local drag strip to test something, and that wasn't abnormal. We did that a lot at Brock's, and he really does, track testing. So he'll come up with something or have a new product, and we'll go and test it. Well,
Mike's kind of his go-to guy on all that stuff.
Well, yeah. So he's like, I
Yeah.
got a guy that's helped me out for a while. He's a really good rider. And I'm like, all right, we get to the track and I meet Mike and I'm thinking like, well, this guy is kind of big, to be like
Yeah.
for what you would normally see,
He ain't 140 pounds. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
especially trying
he's
to get shit to go fast.
and he might be like 170, I don't know, but he look to me, if you see him, he looks like he weighs what he's supposed to weigh
I
for
thought
his
he weighed
body.
like 200, to be honest, but it's neither here nor there. Mike's
Yeah.
one hell of a rider, and I found that out super quick. I mean, he's one of the biggest guys in super stock, and he's can hang with just about any
Yeah,
of them. So
he is a great rider, and I tell him that all the time. I just tell him he don't want none of bracket racing problems, but he is number two. Number
oh
two.
man.
He's gonna be lit. I mean him message all the time, like he's gonna think this is hilarious. And
I hope so.
him and his buddy Tommy, we're good
Yeah.
we're good friends, and we give each other all a hard time. And they actually buy a lot of stuff from me, and become friends through business kind of type deal. And because I knew Mike, but I didn't know Mike, and then Mike's bought a few things from me, and then we talk in messages just randomly or call each other, and I try to help him get things because he's very, very particular and builds super nice motorcycles. So
Yeah, all his stuff's nice.
if one thing don't look right to him, he ain't letting it fly. And he had like a fitment thing with some carbon body where it met, and he sent me a picture. He's like, "What am I going to do about this? I can't find any kind of fittings." I'm like, "I'll just put Gorilla Tape across it." And he was like, "What?" I sent him a link to Gorilla Tape off AutoZone.
That's not good. That's terrible.
I just giving him a good time. I bet he laughed, and
Probably. Or punched the
obviously,
wall.
obviously, you guys can tell that I'm on one tonight. So here I am.
Yeah,
You're
you are.
getting,
You tuned up? You
you
been
get
drinking?
no, I've water, man. I feel good. I'm off this cold stuff. I'm all jacked up on vitamin D, C, and zinc. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
so that's where we'll go with kind of the classes rule stuff. Just let us know if you got any specific questions, and I apologize to Paul outright if I messed up what we talked about last week because I'll be honest, I had a concussion from getting hit my truck. So
yeah.
uh
I mean, you did get rocked. It creamed your truck. Your truck
I
is
I talked to a couple
useless.
people on Friday, like evening, and at that point I don't even know, I might have been drinking or something at that point because I was just so over that day. I don't even remember talking to some people, so I don't know. I definitely had a concussion.
You called me. You told me you love me. So I love you
See,
too.
I don't even remember calling you. I might have been real tuned up then.
Well, that was like after that was that. I'm sorry, that wasn't Ben. That was Darnell.
That Darnell called you. Yeah, that's right. Let's dude, let's talk about racetrack eats. Man, we had this on the list from the early like ideas throwing at the wall, seeing if they stick. And man, you talking about some good food. We got some places, we got some tracks. I mean, where do you want to start? I know where we're going to start actually. Where we you know where we're going to start.
I mean, I know my favorite place. I don't know if that's where you're going to start at or not, but I
What's your
know
favorite place?
it's in Merlin.
Merlin.
Yeah, yeah. Be the Foxy Fisher. I love that,
Foxy Fish.
man. That place, like,
Fresh seafood, blue crabs. Man,
look,
love me
Fat
some
Man can
Foxy
go
Fish.
there. Fat Man go there by himself. No wife with me. When she comes, I don't want to talk about how much the bill is.
Ooh,
I can go there with just me and spend $75 by myself. Now, saying that, I might have a beverage or two, and everybody knows a beer at a restaurant's $9 or whatever it is. But I get crab truffles, and I don't share them. And if somebody wants some, I'll get two orders because they're not eating my order.
yeah.
Period. That's just the way it is.
So just so everybody knows, this is exactly why we always get to Maryland on Thursdays,
Yes.
purely so we can go eat at
I,
Foxy
I
Fish.
leave I leave and go to Maryland on Thursday morning just because I want to go to Foxy Fish.
There's
One
no
time,
other reason for us to get there Thursday except for to
no,
go eat seafood at
many
Foxy
years
Fish.
ago, I had a shackle break on my trailer, like the mount on the frame for the leaf spring, not a shackle, but the mount. And I had to stop and get this truck place to fix it for me. And I was pissed. And the only reason I was pissed is because I wasn't gonna get Foxy Fish. That's the only reason it wasn't that we had to fix it and it wasn't out on the saw road for like 20 minutes. It was that I wasn't getting Foxy Fish. I was big mad. But then it rained that weekend and I ended up getting it. So it was a little better after that.
So that's obviously our number one go to. And
Yep.
that's at Maryland.
Maryland. Yep.
I feel like I haven't got one in a while because Uncle Walt's always cooking now, but I feel like Maryland, the racetrack
You
actually has some good breakfast stuff too, like tater tots
yes.
and
It
breakfast
has
sammies.
it has, yeah, all kinds of stuff. And
And
they
so that shit seems
everybody
pretty good.
Yeah, they have good track food at the track. Of course, the fat man knows they have really good chicken wings. And their ice cream is good. They have this huge ice cream sandwich thing that I can't never eat half of. Now, my kid tried to eat one and it ended up being in the freezer. Like 2 weeks later, I threw it away because she didn't eat it all. And they have good ice cream choices and different kinds for the kids, and or adults, whoever. I'm not big of a dessert guy myself. I'd rather have like some taters or something. And they have really good, like if you can't leave the track, you can eat good at the track. Basically, they have good stuff
Yeah.
there. And I
But
mean,
we
half the
like to
time I think
explore
Uncle
too.
Walt feeds half the track. So,
Well, yeah, yeah. But we like to explore places.
yep.
Man, I don't know. Would you say,
We went to that other place in Maryland that time, and it wasn't that good. A seafood joint by the water.
yeah, yeah, I
I can't
wasn't a
remember the
fan of
name
that.
of it, but
I
it wasn't
don't
that
either.
good. I ain't gonna give you the name if I did know it because
Yeah,
don't go there.
yeah, I'm not a fan of it. So that's our number
Oh,
one spot for sure
another
is
perk
Foxy
about
Fish.
Maryland, another good perk about Maryland is there's a lot of Amish like vegetable stands and stuff down through there, and they got breads and tomatoes. And
Yeah, that's
I'm a
true.
country guy, and I love tomatoes and cucumbers. And a lot of times, Spencer's old lady will go get some stuff, and she'll bring me back
Yeah,
something I like.
I would probably go with what VMP next.
Yeah, we're gonna do the XDA route first, I guess.
I guess that's just because that's what we more frequently do. But
Yeah.
man, VMP has Giuseppe's right down the road. That pizza is a plus, boy. Let me tell you about that chicken Alfredo.
Yeah, that's what I
Mm.
was about to say. That they
Uh.
they have a chicken Alfredo pizza, and let me tell you something.
Dude, one
I'm
damn slice.
so yeah.
And
That was what I was getting at.
it's like you ate a whole 5 course
So
meal.
one night, we have a big group that always
Yeah.
park together,
Y'all
and
know if y'all have seen us.
I park at the Midway at BMP, but I walk over and hang out there at night. So Dustin is a worrier about getting enough food for everybody. So I'm like, oh man, we ordered like what 8 pizzas or some shit.
No,
Like
you ordered like I feel like you ordered like 12 or 15 pizzas that night.
I don't
It
know,
was
but we didn't
something
even eat
absurd.
we didn't eat like a quarter of them because one slice of their what is it
Chicken
chicken
Alfredo.
Alfredo
Yeah.
that it's like heavy, like you're like
So
oof,
heavy.
but you
It's
want to
so
eat more.
delicious.
You want to eat like 2 or 3 pieces, but you're like I can't. But you want to come back for it later,
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
after our activities, you come back for a piece later. And they all their I've never had a pizza from them that was bad, but our top notch favorite is the chicken Alfredo
It's
for
so
sure.
good. Y'all have to get it.
Yep.
And they'll deliver to the track too. Now also VMP is actually pretty loaded. Did you go to that steakhouse with us?
Yeah, I was about to ask you. Do you remember the name of that place?
I think it's Joe's Steak and Seafood or something, but it's right down the road. It's just a little bit farther. It's actually right past the gas station, so it's
It's got
another
like a
mile
little
down the road.
bar, and
Yeah, real nice place. Man,
I think I got crab legs or something there, and they were killer, like
yeah, I think
great.
it's called Steaks and Seafood Joe's. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. I can look it up now to
yeah. I
verify.
remember
But
we was all sitting there eating, and Jason showed up. And he was at the bar
oh
having him a
yeah,
beverage, and we bought him a glass of milk and had him take it to him because Jason Miller likes milk after he drinks his beer.
we'll pull it up. Yep, Joe's Steak and Seafood. Look, I just
Yeah,
Googled this thing.
just
It
because we've been
has
there.
it's 4.5 stars. It has 1,400 Google reviews. It's a
Yeah, it's
shit
fire,
ton.
fire, fire.
Um, yeah, I don't even remember what we got, but like it's a super nice restaurant. Uh, kind of upper end, I'm sure, price wise and everything, but it was good. I know I've eaten there with you guys, and I think even
That's
Eric and
That's probably our two most common places to eat out at the racetrack because one, that's the only one
but
that you ever go to.
wow, what those tracks?
I mean, for the past what 2 years,
All right,
XDA is the
well,
only time we race together for the most part.
but look, we don't
So
even have to leave VMP because I got one other place, and our main man, the gangster himself, Jeffrey Santine, can vouch for this, and I'm going to try it this year, 100%. Those of y'all who have frequent VMP know exactly what I'm talking about. That I had to try this year. Jeff said it was phenomenal. There's a damn taco truck about I don't even know 100 yards from the entrance of the racetrack, and you just know it's good because it's a taco truck like outside of I don't even know probably like a Spanish market it looks like or something, and that thing has been there for years like and it always has people there. And Jeff told me last year that he finally uh went and got some and said it was just unbelievably good, like the best
We
tacos
all
he's ever had.
we've eat at that Italian joint too. That's always good. I can't remember the name of it, but we've eat there and it's always been good.
No,
I've
Giuseppe's.
never.
Yeah, Giuseppe's
Yeah.
is the Italian place that has the pizza.
Oh, is it same place?
Yeah, it's the same place. Yeah,
Oh, every
yeah, they
time we
have.
went there, I've never eat the pizza while I was there. I always got like
Well,
something
no,
else.
yeah, not while we're there. Yeah, their
Yeah.
overall stuff's good, but I'm talking
Oh,
about,
okay.
I'm talking about the taco truck right by the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
campground.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a little.
You
I don't
remember
know, a
Jeff talking
store.
about how they went there
Yeah,
last year and drove?
that night we
Yeah,
was all chilling. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, I can't wait to try that out. Yeah. So what else
We
we
get
got?
the pizza a lot because you can just order it and they bring it to the track and go to the gate and get it.
And that chicken
Pretty easy.
Alfredo's the bomb. Just so
A lot
you
of
know.
times at racetracks, we might pick one night to eat something, just wing it, eat out, or eat at the track or whatever. But for the most part, when you're with me, especially, Uncle Walt's got it thrown down for us. Like we have a camp cookout, I guess you'd say.
Well, yeah,
And
but there's certain places. That's why we wanted to talk about the racetrack
yeah,
eats.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people. It just depends on how you race. Like a lot of people when they go racing, they bring their grill and you know all that
Oh yeah.
stuff.
I
But
like to have one night. And usually it's the first night, but I like to have one night where we go out and get something, and then the
well,
rest of the
the
weekend.
only track that I tell you that you have to actually drive to get food is Rockingham. Like you got to drive to get food there if you want to get food from
That is true,
even
but you know what Rockingham has?
what is it, Texas Roadhouse or something out the road that we
Uh,
always went to, or Outback or something. You had to drive like 20
um,
minutes, 30 minutes to get to it.
yeah, yeah, no, there is, but you know what I like about down there, and I don't know if I brought you some. I feel like I did one time. Smithfield Chicken and Barbecue.
Yeah,
Man, they got
yeah,
some bomb
yeah.
barbecue sandwiches. All them
Back in the
North
good
Carolina
old
people
days,
know about that.
Rockingham had food trucks and stuff out there, and I mean there was what you it
What
felt like you was at a carnival. Remember,
dude?
like the
Here's all I'll say on that. I
the fish
remember one
sandwich.
night. Yeah, I remember one night I was indulged in some adult beverages.
Darnell.
Basically, Darnell was out running around wild, and I just remember Uncle Jerry, like, I don't know. I guess I ran up to him, like, or came up on the scooter, probably half lit, and I was
Jerry
like,
don't
"What are
drink
you
much, and he
eating?"
had
Yeah,
one beer, and he was eating a fish sandwich.
yeah. He's like, "I'm eating a fish sandwich." And I was like, "What? Where did you even get a fish sandwich
I
from?"
remember
But yeah,
one time at Rockingham, you eat some chocolate covered donuts out of your pocket.
hey, it is what it is. I like my
I'm gonna
donuts.
tell this real quick. So we was hanging out at DME's trailer, and Darnell come rolling up. He's like, "You want a donut?" No, wait. You pulled a donut out of your pocket, and started eating it. I'm like, "Did you pull out of your pocket?" You go, "Yeah." You want one? And you pull out of your pocket and hand it to me, and of course I eat it. I'm fat, but it was just like the funniest. We just looked at. She was like, "How did you
Yeah,
have that in your pocket without destroying it?"
and I was like wearing jeans too, wasn't I?
Yeah, yeah, you had
I don't
jeans
even
on.
know. This is some magical stuff. Like it was them. What do they call them? Intamins and
The
entertainments or
really dark
whatever. That
chocolate
brand of
covered.
donuts. Yeah, it was a
Yeah, yeah,
chocolate donut, and things are
yeah,
delicious. I love.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
eating those with a glass
He
of milk
pulled
at
them out
night.
of his damn pocket, and he had backups. Like I got
Yeah,
one. You know
I
what
don't
I
know how.
mean?
And like you said, well, I don't remember. Y'all told me about it after the fact, but like you said, I just
Well,
pull out a
I
donut
ain't going to say
perfectly
that
brown.
I wasn't Dustin. I think that was the night that I drank my first course, and I don't even know what it tastes like because we were just having a good time, But I do know what I felt like the next day, and I knew all of it was a bad decision. Um, but that was a very good memory of. That's one reason why I think the Rock's so special to us because we have so many memories there.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
um, I got a
And you
pretty good
talking about? Oh, go ahead.
I got a pretty good idea about a food place. Um, if the people that race SDBA at Brainerd, they have a place called Farm to Fork, and they actually bring breakfast to the track on Saturday mornings, and you can go get some if you want it. And they have like the biggest portion of biscuits and gravy I've ever seen in my life. Like I got biscuits and gravy and hash browns, and it was like I couldn't even. My daughter eat some of it. Like I shared it, I
Is
couldn't
that
eat
what
it
was
all.
there the one race I went to last year?
Yeah, and they have
Yeah.
their friend. They have the really. My wife loves their French toast.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
remember because
huge
Tamara was
plate.
down there early. I
Yeah,
remember
she
down there.
got you some or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, or she was going to get it, and you was going to get it. You both went to get it. And
yeah,
I was still
something
in the
like
bed
that.
probably.
Yeah,
But that they have that little, and their concessions fine too. Most tracks these days have pretty good food considering that
well, I'll
back
tell
in
you
the day
what.
racetracks didn't have good food.
Well, look, I don't want to talk bad about the track I grew up at. And I guess it's not really talking bad, but I grew up at East Side Speedway in Waynesboro. And I'm
Yeah,
not talking bad. It's just like that track has not changed since I was a kid. Like it's
yeah.
50, whatever, 60 years. Like nothing's ever changed there. So it's old. But man, I'll tell you what, I still go over there and like they had some of the best hamburgers and french fries and stuff. Cause they always did like, you ever been to a track where they like chop up the onions and put them in mustard and you just
Yeah,
like, yep, man, they had that. They had vinegar, malt vinegar for your french fries. I love vinegar on some
they
french
do that
fries.
at Maryland. Yeah, they
Man, they
have
got
malt
malt.
vinegar.
Oh,
Yeah, their
I
fries
didn't
have malt
notice that.
vinegar and salt sitting out there under that
But
umbrella.
man, I loved our little local track, East Side Speedway. Their concession, I ain't been there in years, but
So
their
our
concession
local
stands are on point.
track was great food. Like you go up there and get like a fry bologna and cheese sandwich and a fry.
Mm,
Old
yeah,
school stuff and that country hillbilly stuff. And I love that. But I'll never forget they changed owners. The first owner redone the whole racetrack, and they had like these big, great cheeseburgers. Well, they changed the owners, and my uncle, which was like a dad to me, that's passed away now, and he's the one that actually red bar bike that you rode.
Frank.
That he built it. Yeah, Uncle Frank. He went up there to get a burger, and I was behind him, and he got his burger and opened it up to put like your condiments on it. And he goes, "Would you look at this?" He turned around and showed it to me. He goes, "That ain't a hamburger patty. That's a sausage patty." And I never will. I laughed so hard at that. I was like, "Man, it is." Like it was the size of it. He just looked at that woman and she was like, "That's our new burgers." He goes, "That ain't a burger. That's a sausage patty." He goes, "Can I get another patty?" And she handed him another patty. I was dying. Like just little things like that. But now that track has like the fried bologna and like they have good food. Like
Yeah.
it's our little local track.
I feel like a lot of smaller local tracks, like their track concession stands, I feel like they're sometimes a lot better than like a bigger track.
Oh yeah, because them grandmamas are in there cooking, son. They
Well,
got
that's
that
what I'm
going
saying.
on.
Like,
Yeah,
for example, at Bristol, and I love Bristol, but there's a large company that
weak,
runs all the concession stands at
very
Bristol
expensive.
Dragway
Yep.
and Bristol Motor Speedway. Like, they can't just have grandma in there cooking. And man, I'm telling you what, these
Is
small tracks got some good cooking going
I
on.
will say that we're talking about food. I think Bristol has the worst concession stand. It's very expensive
Sorry,
and
Bristol.
it ain't that good. Like it just to me, I'd rather go to my trailer and eat a Lunchable. I'm not. I've never been a fan.
No,
I've never and like went there and go, oh, it's gonna be great. I think I bought food there like twice my whole life, and I used to race at Bristol all the time when I was a kid with my dad.
that's because it's
I
not that great.
is the worst. Yeah, I just go eat a bag of chips and drink a water or something. I just wasn't what I was interested in doing.
How about our beloved Memphis International Raceway? Man, oh man.
R.I.P. I remember there's a photo somewhere of me and you sitting in my trailer propped up, chilling, eating barbecue nachos. I had the barbecue meat and the cheese, and man, it was amazing.
Barbecue nachos. Man,
Yeah.
those were so good. Actually, that photo, I'm going to verify. I feel like that's on the Red Hill Racing podcast website on the host.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's it. Yep. You and
Uh,
I are in some
Sitting in
chairs.
my trailer just chilling.
Man, we're eating
Yeah.
them nachos. We're smiling, thumbs
Yeah.
up in, and we look like we're about 20. We look good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. I'm probably fat. Still fat.
No, you look way thinner.
Damn, I need to lose more weight.
You look really thin, and I actually look a little buff with no gray hair. So
That's back when you was doing that bodybuilding stuff.
probably was. I'm sure it
Yeah.
was.
I was thinking of that the other day. I've been on a diet for a few weeks. I've lost like 15, 16 pounds. I got
Awesome.
sick, so the diet went out the freaking window. I was like,
Right.
all I wanted was chicken noodle soup, which ain't on my diet plan. I didn't care. Um, I was thinking about you. I'm like, it takes like you do a very good job at like discipline and routining that. Like, because when you done that bodybuilding thing, you basically got rid of all the body fat. Like you sucked your body plumb out.
That was
Honestly,
hands down the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
yeah, but you did it though. But now I will say, in my opinion, you didn't look as healthy as you do without it. You know what I mean? Because you were just so cut. Like here I am. I got sick, and I'm blaming it on because I was on a diet. I wasn't eating my country boy make me tough stuff. I wasn't drinking enough milk. I wasn't eating my taters, and that's just what got me. Saying that I lost more weight while I was sick, and I wasn't even following the diet because I didn't care. But I was probably because I didn't eat much because I was about to die. But
Man,
that
I
was
remember
very
coming to the racetrack with like containers of just like ground turkey and
Yeah.
broccoli and tilapia and just nasty ass shit I've been eating for weeks and weeks and weeks. Man,
Yeah. The discipline that it took to do that. And everything we do in life requires discipline. And that right there
it
was
does.
like flexing to discipline to me, because
Well, I mean,
food
that's
is
just
something that's
next
very
level.
easy to do wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to do food wrong.
Well, right. And it's easy to do it wrong, but it's also convenience, and especially like the traveling with the race and stuff. Like, it's not always convenient to bring
Yeah.
all your food, and sometimes it's just easier to stop. So, yeah, I mean, as far as, that stuff was tough because
Yeah.
every meal was planned, portioned, and
That honestly though, that planning is what makes it doable if you pre-plan it and then get your
yeah.
meals laid out. Now, I'm sure I see people all the time, and I've done this one time on a diet, make something up and you put it in bowls for 6 days. That 6th day, man, that stuff sucks. It's
Oh, yeah.
done. You're over it. You've eaten it every day. It's just like it just ain't as good.
Man, I still don't eat tilapia.
You ruined it for yourself.
I
Like, you
did.
just
Yeah. I
destroyed it.
ruined it for sure.
Because it's actually not bad. Like,
No, I used to like it, but when I was
yeah,
eating it at 11 o'clock, the last meal of my, day,
yeah, yeah.
eating tilapia and asparagus right before I go to bed. Oh,
We're talking about food, and the fat man just I thought of something. Food that makes you full longer is never good for you. Like, really. But
I don't know.
there's one food that you can eat that's not really good for you, and you'll be hungry 2 hours or 1 hour after eating it, and that's a bowl of cereal. Like, it's
I thought you
not
was
good
gonna
for
say
you.
Chinese food.
No, I like me some Chinese food now. You give me some Kung Pao chicken or
I
whatever that
know, but I
stuff
feel
is.
like you can eat Chinese food and then like 2 or 3 hours later, you just want to eat more of it, even though you were
Let me
stuffed.
think of. I tell Tamara that all the time. She's like, "Let's go here and eat," and I'll go, "Man, they ain't many." Like, if you go to Chinese, or like I
Yeah.
like sushi now,
Oh,
and
I
I'm
love
like,
some sushi.
man, those people ain't never fat. Maybe I need to eat more of that. But my problem is I get 2 rolls and noodles.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's some other track stuff? We hit Memphis, which it's not even open anymore, but man, they had them killer barbecue nachos.
Yeah. Um, I mean, a track that sticks out, like, I race, of course, STBA a lot, and it's crazy to just say this is Huntsville. I've never left Huntsville to eat, but anyway, at Huntsville, I I I've been there. I don't know how many times, and I can't remember me going to Huntsville and going out to eat somewhere and like going, hey, that's a great place. So I've always eat at the track. We've always just grilled out at the track or whatever. And then let's see here if I can think of somewhere else. So a lot of places that I go to, if like my buddies ain't there, I eat by myself, and I might just grill out something or make me something easy to make or whatever. Trying to think of something else somewhere else that has like an iconic, outstanding thing to eat. I really can't think of um, another. Well, for example, if you go to Adele, Georgia, which is South Georgia Motorsports Park, 15 minutes away, there's every kind of restaurant you could ever think of.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm talking about like the ones that are special to areas.
I mentioned, like Huntsville. I've never left Huntsville to eat, so I couldn't think of anything at Huntsville that is like great to go eat at. I've always eat at the track and just, survival type deal. Maybe have microwave pot pies or whatever.
Indy's got
And
some good food around them.
yeah, well, that's kind of like South Georgia, right? Like South
Yeah,
Georgia, you can drive 15, 20 minutes and there's every kind of restaurants you could ever think
yeah.
of. And Indy has the same concept.
Uh,
the tracks near big cities or in towns are always food accessible, for whatever
Oh
you want.
yeah, but
The
there's some like
reason
good restaurants that aren't like chains in Indy I've been
it's
to.
hard for us because a lot of times, well, especially if I go to a race by myself, I don't even leave the racetrack. You know what I mean? So I just either grill up my own stuff or bring stuff, and one of my friends that is there, they grill it up and we all eat or whatever. Like SDBA, for example, Wes is always with me. He usually comes. So I'll go over to Wes and bring him some steaks or something, and Mel will cook them up for us and we'll eat.
Yeah.
And something about Dustin, because we're talking about food, during the day, I might get up and eat some breakfast, but during the day, I don't really eat that much. I might eat some, like if it's summer, I might eat some fruit. Like I'll buy like a big fruit mixture and just pick into that and drink waters. Sometimes if I get hungry, like my stomach's hurting hungry, I might eat like some sandwich meat or something just light when I get like a good break. I don't like eating while I'm racing. And it's just like anything else. If you eat a big old bowl of food, you get lazy and changes your reaction times. It changes
Get
everything. So,
tired and everything.
yep, it changes you. And it's just like, it's just like anything else. It changes. I mean, if you went out there and you was racing and you started drinking moonshine, which is a terrible idea, you're not gonna react as good and race right or ride right. So, um, same thing on food; it all does something to you. Trying to think of another thing like Knoxville Dragway here at home. It's not really a big track that people go to, but it's got a town right near it that has plenty of everything you could think of to eat.
I just can't
Um,
remember that place in Indy that I'm thinking of, but if it comes to me, I'll let everybody know. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I mean, I'm with you. I know we had our some favorite places and
yeah,
tracks to
those
go
those
around and
several
stuff.
those very yeah. I mean, like let's just for me, it's we run XDA every year, and XDA has been going to the same tracks for several years now, and we've got it ironed out. We know what we like, when we like it, and when we go get it. And Thursday night at XDA, we eat at Maryland, we eat Foxy Fish. At Thursday night, most of the time, sometimes Friday night at Virginia, we eat pizza.
Yep.
And that's XDA for us. And then Uncle Walt tends to us the rest of the weekend, no matter where we're at, or we just figure it out. And if it rains and we're at Maryland, we probably go back to Foxy Fish again. That's just the way
Yeah,
it
that
is.
is
And
true.
um, that's my favorite. Like, that's the best thing about going to Maryland. That's great. I raced good there. I love the track, but the highlight of going to Maryland, driving there, is knowing I drive that 7.5 hours. I'm going to eat at Foxy Fish. That's just what I'm doing. And I'm trying to, I don't really think the problem is me and you have been out of the loop so many years on racing every race. So, okay, I got one Dragway 42. I
I've
don't
never
know the
been
name
there
of
actually.
I don't know the name of it. I don't know anything about it. Me and Ron was there racing Man Cup, I think it was. And one night he's like, let's go eat dinner. He goes, we can take my truck. I'm like, cool. So I jumped in his truck and we go to this little bar out the road. I'm sure if you go to the racetrack, you could look up a bar or a eatery, and they have amazing food. Everybody there was nice. I think I had like a steak, and it was really good, like almost like a restaurant style. But it sometimes you can find them old school style, dive bars or whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, and they have really good food because I don't know if it's because the cooks are old school or the whatever, or maybe they don't follow the rules. Sometimes when you cook things perfectly, it's not as good tasting as something that might not be cooked the right way or whatever. But I mean, you gotta admit, there's sometimes you can get some old man out in the woods somewhere and make you go kill a squirrel and cook it for you, and it's amazing because they
Yeah.
just do it their way. I think it
Yeah, I
was
like
it
squirrels too.
Oh yeah, my dad used to cook squirrel dumplings all the time when I was a kid, and I'm still a big fan of it. I hadn't had it in years, but I'm actually being. This is the time of year where Dustin wants crappie, which is a fish. People that don't know, people call it crappie, crappie, whatever. Um, and I actually went fishing about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Didn't catch a damn thing. Some of my friends in a group chat kept messaging me dumb questions about parts. I got pissed off and just threw my minnows in the water and come back home. Stuck my motor in my bike and got it running. Um, Sometimes Dustin just needs to work. That's it.
Oh man. What
Uh,
all
I
right,
can't
well,
think.
I feel like we kind of covered some meats. Pretty good,
Yeah,
huh? Let's do what do you want to do? A sponsor shout out and then a giveaway
we can do that.
or a sponsor spotlight. I know we've been
Yeah,
trying to spotlight
yeah.
some people. How about we do we'll do Platinum General Services tonight. That's Ralphie's general contracting construction company. Probably not going to do most of the listeners good, but if you're up in the New Jersey, New York area and you're in need of, commercial construction, renovations, paving, I mean, literally they can do anything. And, they have super high end clients and they just have great reviews on everything they do. And they're more than capable of getting all your projects done. So, um, like I said, just wanted to shout out and spotlight some of our sponsors. So, Platinum General Services, if you have a small business in New Jersey and New York and looking to get any work done, whether it's renovations, new builds, anything you need, definitely look them up. Woo! There's some
I've
sound
been
effects. I
slacking. I
like it.
forget.
Yeah, I
I
know.
forget about it. I'm not so used to having the options.
No, it's all good. We're gonna do another giveaway tonight for everyone. Now, just so everybody knows, and if you've been living under a rock, then I guess you don't know, but most everybody should know by now. The Patreon, subscribe to our Patreon channel or go to the Red Hill Racing Podcast website. Either of those places for only $1 a month. You just subscribe, you're automatically entered in the giveaways. So
Yeah, and you can also, if you want to help us out a little extra, I don't know if it's ever going to amount to anything, but you also put these sound clips on YouTube, and we have a YouTube channel, and you can go on there and like and follow and subscribe and all that good stuff.
yeah.
And that's a good place to maybe even put some comments on there and ask some questions,
Yeah,
whatever,
then we get some. I answer them on there. Yep, we're also
Yeah,
on YouTube. But as far if you want to get in on the giveaways, all you got to do is commit $1 a month. That's it. And
yeah,
we're giving away all kinds of good stuff from our sponsors. We're gonna give away
yep,
a MPS Racing gift certificate tonight. Was it $50?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So for $1, you could win a $50 gift certificate to MPS. So it's a pretty good deal. We've already given away an MTC engineering gift certificate a couple episodes ago. So
Yep.
really can't beat, $1 a month. That's
Yeah,
12
and you
bucks
can
for
give
the year.
more, and we would appreciate it if you did, but you don't have to. If you just want to sub $1, that's
Yeah.
cool. There's no that's the minimum.
Ring
We've
it
had
up.
some people do a little bit more, they sub more a month, whatever, however you feel.
Yep.
Whatever you can handle.
Ring it up however you want. And I had listed on our giveaway names everybody's monthly commitment. So when we pick a winner tonight, I will let you know what this winner has invested.
Cool.
So let's see, what are we doing? The random.org. I'm also gonna let's see, where is it? I'm gonna share the screen with Dustin so that he can verify that this is true. Can you see it, Dustin?
Yeah, I see you. I see you on
The
random
only
doc.
the only caveat I'm going to put on any of this is that my brother signed up. He is a subscriber, a paying subscriber, and he said, "I don't think I should be in the giveaways." And I said, "Bullshit! If you're paying, you can be in the giveaways."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, man, we have so many family and friends in this.
Yeah,
And if they want to sub up and they all buy race parts too, they should deserve the same right as anybody
yeah.
else.
So
That's why we're using random.org, and it's literally numbers 3 through 43.
yep, that's
So
it.
we don't even know who 3 is or 43 is on this end. We're just clicking it, and it's going to tell us the number. You know what
We
I mean?
don't. We don't.
So
So yeah. So anyways, if Steven wins, he wins. Sorry.
yeah, that's
But
just
it
what
is
it
what it
is.
is. It's
Yeah.
random.org. So we got the numbers in here. We got 3 through 43. So what? That's 40 giveaway people, if I can
Yep.
do math right.
Mm-hmm.
You ready, Dustin? Let me
Yeah.
what I gotta do, refresh this thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
nah.
Well, that's all right. 3 to 43.
3
All
to
right.
43. He's typing it in right now. I'm
You ready?
watching it. Yep. He's clicking generate.
36.
36.
Wow, that was close to Steven, but it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Looks like I got an actual name for this one, James Henson.
Awesome.
Congratulations. And guess how much? Woo! James, we will email you your gift certificate to MPS Racing. And hey, that thing's still going.
Yeah, it's a long one. We're
um,
enjoying it, man. Just enjoy it. Yeah, good job.
woo,
Woo!
let's go, James. Guess how much James pledged a month?
$2.
$1. Close.
Cool.
So $1 has already netted him $50 in gift certificates to
Man,
MPS. So
that's like paying for like what? 4 years of this.
that's a hell of a deal. I wish I
Yeah,
could get in
I
on
mean,
these things.
I want to get $50, man. I could buy something.
Well, I would definitely buy something. So congratulations to James. We'll email you tonight or tomorrow, so you'll know
Yep, and then
before this
we'll
probably.
we'll get Dan at MPS informed, and we'll take care of all that stuff, and we'll let you know when. I can't remember exactly on the details of that. We'll either give you a certificate number or he'll mail it to you.
Yeah,
We'll let you know.
we'll email. So there you go. Our first two winners, looking back at the other one, they've both subscribed for only $1 a month. So if you want to subscribe on Patreon or the website, go for it. $1
You are
or
done
more.
with like, and right now when you have 40 people, the odds are high. Like, I mean, you could win your $49 profit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't beat
Basically.
that. I mean, I mean, there's so many things. There might be a part that costs $100 you want. Well, guess what? You got 50 off of it. You know, or there might be something that costs 1,000 and you get 50 off of it. Whatever. It might cover the shipping or something. Either way,
Still
it's 50
saving you money.
bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Might
like
have to
we
get
said,
some,
we go ahead.
might have to get some gas cards. That'll help all racers out.
Yeah. Well, and like we said, we've got, some bigger giveaways too. We got a tank shell from BMF Components. We have short neck frame service from Kevin at Manchester Mines.
Yep.
And we got a Penske Racing shock, a
That's a
complete,
big dog.
what was that, at 89.75? It's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
shock.
I've sold several of those the past couple of weeks, and a few of them shipped today. And
We're not
man,
even sure how we're giving that one away
that's
yet.
the biggest selling shock that I offer. I think it's the best bang for your buck for the kind of, I don't know, a little bit mild to not so wild setups. When you get out there, of course, you might want to get a triple adjustable or something, but they're simple. You got compression, rebound, and spring rate. That's it. And when we do give that away, you're going to get the shock built to whatever you want, like whatever you request. If it's a Busa, this wheelbase, your weight, we'll talk about all that stuff. It'll be built for your setup, and it'll be brand spanking new, just the way you want it. It's going to be awesome. I want to
sign
talk
up. That's
real
what we're
quick.
saying. Sign
I
up.
put those same shocks on my bikes, both of my bikes. Actually, one of them in 2016 and the other one in 2017, and they have never. The top bolt that holds it to the frame has never been loosened or took off. It's never been off the bike. I've took it loose at the bottom, of course, to change swing arms, but I've never had it off the motorcycle ever. My buddy Dustin Zer at Penske was like, "You need to send that to me and let me just service it." And I'm like, "Nah, it's fine. It don't need nothing. It's a Penske, baby. If you spinning, you ain't winning. That's the way it's got to be."
It's good. That's a good sponsor shout out.
Yeah, real quick, since we're talking about sponsors, I want to mention myself. Hard Times Parts and Service. I got a bundle deal right now on my website, hardtimesparts.com. You buy 4 shirts, and you put a cup, the little metal cup with the Hard Times logo on it in your cart. It's free. You can
Tumbler,
get 2.
right?
Yeah, tumbler. That's it. You can get 3 shirts and a hoodie. You can get 4 hoodies. You can get 4 shirts. You just got to buy 4 merch items and then put the tumbler in the cart, and it's free 99. $20. You're getting it for free. I bought them, sent them to a friend of mine, actually, Todd Heiser in Florida, the Dogwood Racing, and because he was playing around with doing some laser engraving, sent them to him. Kind of was like a test subject for him. He done it. I thought they were awesome. I put them on the website, sold a couple. I'm like, man, I'm gonna just give these away, do a bundle deal with the shirts.
So basically, you can be at the track in your Dustin Lee Racing or any of the awesome shirts that Dustin and Tamara came up with, and you can be enjoying a nice cold beverage in your tumbler.
I mean, yeah, you could have your morning coffee in it, rinse it out, and then have you some whatever else in the after hours activities in it when you're hanging out with your boys. I mean, hell, if you drink during the day, you got a cup. They can't. They don't even know what's in there. It's black. You know what I mean? They can do whatever you got to do.
Right,
whatever makes you have a good time. No, you leave that in there. You got to have your beverages, And on them hot summer days, your old lady roll up on your golf cart or whatever and hand that to you. Man, it's gonna be so nice and cool. It comes with a straw. I didn't even know that until I got them. I'm like, holy crap, there's a straw inside of it. Pretty cool. They're nice. My wife done robbed like 4 of them. I just thought, I'm like, I need a bundle deal just to make it like, you get a little bit better bang for your buck. And then I'll just come up with that. I'm like, I can get a free cup. It's probably going to cost me more shipping, whatever. Just helping everybody out.
I probably would have bought 4 shirts if I knew about that bundle deal. But actually,
bundle. You
I
did
did
buy
buy
4
4
shirts.
shirts. Son of a
Dang.
bitch. I got
I owe,
robbed.
I
Look,
owe you a
this is
cup, man.
this is highway robbery. I'm finding out on the damn podcast.
The cups wasn't even bought. They wasn't
My,
even
my damn
alive yet.
co-host is screwing me. Y'all, well,
Yeah.
anyways, y'all are gonna get a heck of a deal if you get 4 merch items. You
Yeah.
get a free tumbler, which I
Yeah.
did not even get. So
And I know that when I start going to races, I'm going to have to box up a lot of these shirts and take them to the track with me, and it'll help people save some shipping. But the shipping's only $10. It probably, after everything, it costs me more than that, but it is what it is. I just
yeah,
try
it's
to.
a good deal.
I love them because they're cool. We all like having stuff that kind of resembles what we do. I'm a huge Cletus McFarland fan, and I buy his shirts all the time just because I like the slogans and stuff that's on them. So that's kind of what I went for. It's something people would like and like wear it racing, and think it's cool. And the crazy thing is, I done a giveaway the other day, and I give away a Mr. Gasket battery rise jug pump, which is a very cool thing that I use at the racetrack all the time now. And um, my my wife's cousin, he bought 20 items, 20 shirts when I got my shirts in. And I just knew I was sweating bullets, to be honest, because I figured people would be saying something that he was going to win. But he bought 20 items, so he deserved to be in the giveaway.
Yeah.
And he bought 20 items and didn't win. And the person that bought one shirt won. And it was cool giving it to him. That she had no idea. She didn't even know about that. She just bought the shirt because she liked the shirt for her husband. And tickled to death. Shipped it to him. Actually, sent him a tracking number today. It's on their way to him. So
Awesome.
that was pretty cool. $100. I mean, that's and I'm doing that again right now. There's a $100 gift certificate for Hard Times Parts and Service. Started yesterday and ends like the middle of next month. And if you buy every item, gets you one entry on the spin wheel. So I mean, if you go in there and buy this bundle, and you get 4 shirts, that's 4 entries, and you're already getting cool shirts, so you're not really spending anything to get in on the giveaway. But you could win $100 gift certificate from me at Hard Times Parts, and $100 would be a big chunk off of a lot of stuff. And I can manually enter them too if there's something you want there on the website. I can take care of it.
For sure, for sure.
So now we're going to talk about racetrack supplies.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I totally forgot we'd mentioned that. I was gonna say let's talk about some goals and stuff for this year, but yeah, let's talk
We can
about
do that last.
Okay.
So what do you
Go ahead.
take? What do you make sure is in your trailer when you go racing?
My checklist is simple before I pull out. Do I have my helmet? Do I have my suit? Do I have my boots? And do I have my wallet? Because if I got those things, everything else I don't. I mean, I guess I could buy it if I didn't bring it. But no, that's my short checklist. I I've gotten different over the years. We were talking about this beforehand. I used to not bring hardly anything to the track. And I still don't bring a lot of stuff. I mean, it actually seems like and looks like a lot when you got a trailer full, but as far as spare stuff and all, I'll bring some clutch plates. You know, I don't even know if I have an extra chain now I'm thinking about it. But just typical stuff, clutch plates, plenty of
No,
fuel.
I just now got some of them 190 link hard to get DRZ2s in stock. Just saying.
No, but I knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood now. I've never broke a chain, so I don't. It's not something that's on my list. But
Skinny guy problems.
yeah, clutches just because I'll break some clutch plates from time to time. That's really the big thing. Clutch plates and oil. I think it's always good to have at least
Earl.
one or two oil
Earl.
changes. Because I mean that could be anything. You could
Blow a filter seal.
yeah, blow
Gotta
a
have
filter seal, or say you hear something and you want to check your oil pan. That's
Yep.
easy and quick to do, but you need oil. So, having oil in your trailer is a good thing to have. I'm trying to think. Always have some rags, some microfiber towels.
Gas.
Yeah, I don't know. My list is short. You're a better planner than I am.
So mine's changed a lot through the years. Back in the day when Dustin would go racing, I still kind of do this for the essentials now, but it was, bike, fuel, air compressor, tire gauge, leathers. I'm good to go. That's all I need. I can race. You know what I mean? That's the essentials. Um, when I was younger, race local, I didn't take spare parts or all that stuff. And so now that I travel, I have like, thankfully I have an RV now and I have totes in there that just have the same stuff in it for 15 years, 10 years, whatever. That's just like random things like throttle cables, you know, maybe a shifter, spark plugs, wiring stuff, just random things that you might need, which knock on wood that I never need, but it's never have I run over there and go, oh, I need this. I will tell you one thing that I've used a lot out of these totes is starters. I've been a starter eating full for the past few years
Yeah, you
and
have.
change them between rounds at races and this and that. And I usually have at least one starter in my tote, for a Busa. Um, and now, I have a RV and enclosed trailer, so a lot of the essentials stays in the trailer. So you don't have to worry about it. You just get your bike serviced or whatever, put it in the trailer, load it up, make sure you have your fuel, your bikes, the tire gauge and air compressor stays in the trailer. My leather stay in the trailer, so all that stuff's there. But I always look at it, make sure it's there. But the new thing for me is parts for customers. Somebody pre-order something, I have to go through all that. I have to make sure that everybody that orders stuff, I'm taking it to them to the track. So that's extra for me now. That's new. If you have family, you got to make sure you got dog food for your dog. There's a lot of little stuff that changes. Thankfully, my wife takes care of all that for me. I don't know about everybody else's, but my job is racing. I got to make sure that the race stuff for the customers and myself is there. Of course, I always bring a lot of parts. I have a special compartment in my RV that's just stuff that I sell. And then I have another compartment that's just my random, oh, Lord, I need this part, or whatever. And thankfully, a lot of our big series, you go there racing, you always got that one guy that's got everything. So for me and you, if we need a Busa part, what guy pops in your head first thing that'll have what you need?
Spencer.
Exactly. Same for me. One time I kicked a chain off and broke a shift cover, bunch of stuff, and
Oh
Spencer's like, "I
yeah.
got it. We could fix it." And remember, we was all
Yeah, I
thrashing and
was gonna
fixed
say
it.
I'm surprised we got
Yeah.
fingers after that thrash.
We did that's one of the most amazing things that me and my friends has done at a racetrack, in my opinion. It ain't winning races. It ain't doing this. It ain't doing that. We didn't make the round by a few seconds, but if we wouldn't have looked at it and I said, I'm done, and then Spencer come over and motivated me to try to fix it, we would have been fine. We would have made it. But
Cole just likes working on stuff.
yeah, we literally took the clutch out, pushed the clutch rod out because it was broke, put another one in. The shift seal, the clutch rod still looked mangled, but we was going to send it. I put a shift cover on it. I missed there's like a stud that the spring goes on. I missed it, had to pull it back off and realign it, put it back on, which is very hard to do in the frame. Done all that, tighten the chain up, got a chain on it, or maybe we just put the one back on it. I can't remember. And I rolled in the lanes, and they were running right the last pair right in front of me. They didn't. I mean, they tried. Jason Miller done everything he could to hold them guys back, basically. But that was one of the most awesome things ever. That all my friends, that is important to me at the racetrack, was there was bolts flying. Spencer's dad never took a Gen 2 clutch out in his life, but he was getting it apart with gloves on because it was hot. It was just the coolest shit ever. Like that's one of my favorite things of a bad thing that's ever happened. And he has like if you need it, he's normally got it, and it's he yanked that stuff off of one of his spare motors or something for me real quick. But, if it's in dire need, Spencer's that one guy that he ain't gonna let a motor problem stop him the first time. He'll figure it out. And him and Jason Herron and you and Steven and Jimmy Miller and everybody was, around helping. That was awesome. Like I don't know. I think that might be one of my, like, a bad thing happened, but it was like one of the coolest things ever type deal. And
Yeah.
And I told the people that didn't wait on me that it's going to be a long year for them. That was the first race of the year, and I ended up winning the championship still. So I'm just saying,
Oh man.
The worst part of that was, man, it was in 560. I think I was 10 on the tree, and he was like 35. It was a wrap, and it just said nah. It just kicked that chain off. Man, I wish I'd oiled the track down a little bit more to give us some more time.
Oh damn. Well,
But
hey, talking about that, it made me think of like one thing that's always on my list before I leave.
okay,
You gonna
beer,
guess?
beer.
Yeah. I will drive to the racetrack with a cooler of beer and no food. Even if I'm going by myself, I will leave my house with actual no food, no sustenance besides alcohol.
Well, I've become a nicotine addict, so one of my things, kind of like beer, I guess would say, was vapes. I got to make sure I got at least two or three just to make sure I don't freak out
Yeah.
drive. And they, to be honest, it keeps me awake driving home. That's my biggest thing for them is they help me get home. But the nicotine just keeps you pumping a little. But I use it during the week just for stress. It's a bad habit, but it's better than smoking cigars like I used to. So
Yeah.
anyway, don't smoke,
Everybody's
kids.
got a
Bad for you.
vice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you want to talk about tonight?
Um.
You got any goals for this year?
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit of what I've been doing. Um. So of course I was sick. I got my bracket back today. I finished, got the body work. Actually, the only thing I had to do is I put a brand new MTC Gen 2 clutch in it because I took the old one and put it in my wife's bike that I'm building. So I had to throw a tune up in there because it's just whatever MTC sends it. I got to do that, and then it's ready to load up literally and go. I'm gonna go test Saturday. I'm gonna seat the rings as I call it. Just because I like going and breaking in my motors, making motor passes, no nitrous, just making sure, all the numbers is good, oil pressures, look the bike, everything, keep eye on it. I'm not even putting the diaper on the bike because I want to see if there's something leaking. Just kind of rough the bike in, make sure everything's good. I would kind of like to go release some stress and make some laps physically and mentally. I've been getting the itch watching old videos and stuff, and me and you talking on these all the time kind of gets you amped up for race season.
Oh,
And then my top gas motor, I got the whole bottom end together. Like I said, I'm waiting on the head. It should have shipped today, I think. So, saying that, I'm literally almost ready to have two bikes. Now, my top gas bike has to have the motor finished, put back in the bike. I got to change the swing arm. I got a new swing arm from DME for it. And then it should be dang near ready. It's got a brand new wiring harness from Gage Herrera, Mr. Pro Stop Motorcycle. Um, so it's pretty much ready. So for the goal part, so Dustin is pretty rough on himself on setting goals. Um, I've done some crazy things and I've, racked up 5, 6 championships a year, yada, yada. So right now I'm sitting at 40. Is it possible to get 45 at 2 series in the season? I don't know. I'm going to set it there. If I get 42, if I don't get none, 40, whatever. Like I just want to set it there.
yeah, but you got to set goals. That's why you set
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I can't do it. It's possible, but it's one of them goals that's
It's a tall
high.
order.
Right, exactly. It's a very hard to do deal. Because let me just say something. If I raced the rest of my racing career, and if I was lucky enough just to win one championship a season, that's a great accomplishment. Period. And I might not even get that some years. I don't know. Like everything. I'm getting to where I'm not so devoted to my racing as I am my customers' is racing or friends' is racing. But I'm always going to set myself out there to keep me pushing, to try to keep me working hard. One of the things I do want to do this year, so our local track, they had just now announced not long ago that IHRA is going back to having a motorcycle class, the bracket finals. So I may join points there to attend the bracket finals instead of doing NHRA. And the only reason I don't want to do NHRA is there's just so much bull crap to getting your license and crap again after it's expired. And like every time I've called them or emailed them, like, oh yeah, you ain't got to do all them passes, just fill this form out. Then I fill it out, send it in, and they never say nothing back. So it frustrates me. Just take my money is what they should do.
That's
If they want
usually
to
what
find
they do.
out, if they want to find out how I ride, Google me. I mean, sorry.
Google me.
I can
Google
ride
me,
a
bitch.
motorcycle. I don't need to make a 60-foot pass on my motorcycle. I
You
think
don't have
time
to do
trials
that,
are
sir.
boring anyway, so I don't want to do all that crap. And back in the day in HRA, you had to do a physical. So let's go. I think when I first got my NHRA license, I was like, I might have been 17. So I had to go to a doctor and get my nuts held just because I was riding a motorcycle. It just made no sense to me. There's just too many rules. That's why they're having issues, in my honest opinion. But I want to do it, and I might still do both. But I'm going to join points at Knoxville, I think, possibly just to go with that deal to the bracket finals. I'm going to talk to Wes Clapp that owns the track or the run of the program just to see what the ends of that. Do I have to get so high in the points? 'Cause I'm not going to be there all the time. I'll go when I can. And just run. I'm running all XDA, all SDBA. I'm going to try to dive over to some man cups. That's a new thing happening just to try to support Hollywood and see how it's going. I don't think I'll make the first one. I'm gonna try to make the Rockinghams, and for sure the last one. It just depends on how Dustin's doing or how I'm feeling when all that stuff comes up. I'm not a race planner at all. I go 1 week at a time. I will tell you that I'm running 2 series, but I don't know. I'm not worried about August right now. I'm worried about March. So that's my kind of lineup for myself.
So 2 series, a little bit of other stuff dabbled in here and there, and
Yeah,
5 more championships.
that's the championship things. Like it's going to be tough, but I'm going to
That's a
set it
goal.
there.
That's how I asked you what your goals were.
Well, the reason I'm trying to get 5 now is I can get it once I get to 50, I can quit chasing them. That's my personal goal. So the quicker I get them, the quicker I can quit chasing them. I guess is what I'm getting at. Not that I want to quit racing every race. I just don't want to have to feel guilty on myself for not making a race. You know what I mean? So I just want to eliminate. I am going to race more this year, and the only reason I'm doing so is to sharpen myself up because I do feel like that I'm not as good as I used to be, and the best way to get better is to be at the racetrack.
We're
So
getting old.
yeah, I'm gonna race a little bit more local when I'm home. There's a lot of times last year I remember I didn't go to the track and I was texting my brother and them how they're doing and I was wanting to be there, but I didn't go. So I'm gonna eliminate that. I'm gonna go when they're open. I'm gonna just go. I'll be there and I'll know what's going on and I'll race. And plus I want to rough them boys up a little bit. I talk to them all the time privately and I give them a hard time. And I said, man, every time I went there last year I won. What are you guys doing? You gotta I'm trying to make them better. You know what I mean? I'm trying to like push them to work on being better. So what better way to do that is get out there and race with them, and it'll help
That's
me.
right.
It'll help me, and it'll help them. So that's something I'm going to do. The funny thing is the other day they sent me a Marcus Moore and his son Grady. They sent me a clip of them sitting in their garage listening to this, and I was talking about the 80-inch swing arm deal when your bike's stock motor, and that was towards them. I was giving them a hard time, and they sent me a video, give me a thumbs up, laughing because they got it. So they're hearing me now, and Grady just now moved down here from Colorado, and he's working for Marcus, the plumbing company he has, and I'm going to come rough Grady up and try to whip him boys in shape and try to create some more champions and have a good time with my friends. So I'm going to race a little bit more local, 2 series, dibble dabble in some man cup. Might wander to Bristol a little bit if I decide to go to the bracket finals NHRA. Just seems like a lot. Right now it's early in the year and I'm dying to go race. So of course I'm wanting to do more. But when it gets real about mid-season and you're wore out from racing so much, it changes a little bit. So the guaranteed part is XDA and STBA and a couple man cups. That's guaranteed. 5 championships is a hope.
Well, we'll see
So
what happens
what's
then.
yours? You going to try to gain some championships this year? What are you doing?
Um,
How are you doing?
man, I don't know. I haven't tried to. Well, I guess I shouldn't say try. I've not planned to run for points and championships in a couple years, at least in my head. Now, I'm not saying, like last year I ran all the XDAs. So obviously the cards just didn't fall my way. But at the same point, I didn't have my one bike at all. And
Still
then
don't.
still don't. All right. But, and then my other bike, was growing pains. The blower bike, we made a lot of changes to it over the winter. So it was figuring that out. So, it's not like I had my stuff just ready and to go. So that being said, you
Let's
know,
call it right now.
it's
I
been a
don't.
while, man. It's been a while.
Let's
So
let's let's shoot for a top sportsman championship. That's what you should do this
well,
year.
I was going to say, I'm going to try to do my best in top sportsman / pro AT at XDA. And if the cards fall that way and I can get another championship, on my old resume, it'd be nice because I don't think I've won one in a couple of years.
You better have your stuff ready, boy.
Man, I mean, when that blower bike comes by you at 195,
That's all right. You can pass me in the shutdown.
probably will be in the shutdown. Just blindly follow you through,
Good
break out by
times.
fuck. You're
You'll be like, you'll get down and you'll go, what? Oof.
I will say oh man, that's a question that we had. We talked about that some, the faster bike, didn't we? Did we talk about that on an episode?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
That
were
I
talking
mean,
about the
yeah,
lights and stuff.
yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what though,
Hopefully,
when I
was
slowed it down, it was better. It was hard to go 190 some and judge.
Yeah, I would just set that. I mean, like that thing can run 775 and qualify and be a consistent machine. That's what I would do if it was. I mean, you see what I do. I could probably run 760, 750s on my bike if I wanted to, but it don't pay me any different to do so. So let's
Yeah.
just be easy on my girl and let her breathe a little and do that all year. I mean, you know me. When I go to the first race at XDA, I'll get a tune up in the bike, make a hit. And if it goes to 780, for the most part of the season, that's going to be the tune up I use. I mean,
Yeah.
not unless I accidentally like have too much bottle pressure or something like that. It's going to run 780s pretty much all year. I don't mess with it. If they said, oh, number one qualifier gets $200, well then of course I'm physically handicapped being fat, but in your case, it would be worth wicking it up for,
Yeah.
getting a little something.
Well, I mean, like you said, the main thing is I just didn't have enough runs. So I didn't know where to put it. And at first I was, I think I came out and was running 730s and I
You
kept
know,
trying to slow it down. And then I got it down to like, what was I running? I feel like 760s there at the
does
last race.
yeah, does XDA do that? Does XDA have qualifying points for top sportsmen?
Mm,
They should. That
I
would
think so.
motivate people to do something. I don't know if they do or not. I've never
No, I
worried
don't
about it.
think they do.
They should because those guys are putting more effort in, right? I mean, if you're going out there running 750s and then the guy that's 830,
Yeah, but I mean, it's a bracket class when it's all said and done. So, no, I mean, I know
I mean,
they
not
don't.
like a Jurassic deal, but if you're number one qualifier, you get 5 points, and then 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, but I mean, that adds up. If there's 5 races and that's 25 points. It's a
Well,
whole
yeah.
round over
What
a
what
round advantage.
wouldn't that be incentive for the little blower to work a little? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it would, but then,
yeah.
then Jason's going to have more shit exploding on this racetrack.
Oh yeah. Well, we got diapers now. We good.
Yeah,
Shoot, that's gonna
yeah.
solve all problems.
No, I'm gonna make some passes. I've hardly well, I haven't touched anything really, but not that that's a surprise, but
I was about to get at that. We've been spending a lot of time on these podcasts, and
yeah,
somebody
I
needs to
really
spend a
haven't
little
done
time.
anything. I
Little
ordered
time.
I ordered a couple things that I wanted to try out as far as like clutch handles and levers
Yep.
that we had talked about. It's top
Yep.
secret info. But that's really the only thing that I'm gonna change a little bit, just a couple little minor tweaks on it, and then I'm just gonna go out and see what it wants to run. It was pretty happy running 60s, I think, at those last two races. Really, I did really well at those last two.
Yeah, I would set
It
that thing
seemed pretty
right.
consistent. I just want to see where it wants to be. Where's it want to live? It was hard to slow that thing down, man. That's a legitimate 6 second bike. I have no doubt in my mind that I could run 690s on that bike.
If it
But
was me, I'd put like a mild conservative deal, and if that thing went a 777, that's what it's going to run all year
it
long.
was mild running 760s. That
Yeah.
was for me to run 760s on that bike. It was about half my available boost.
Well, I'd go to a quarter.
I mean, I could. I could slow it up to 790s. I reckon.
I mean, it would just be easier on parts and less factors of, plugging second and the tire, breaking loose a little and just there's so many factors.
Yeah.
Now, saying that at XDA, when does that happen? We don't spin top sportsman bikes don't spin at second gear. We just don't, not unless there's something went wrong.
No.
Um, but the tracks are I've never been to an XDA and do a burnout and pull a starting line and be concerned about the surface ever. Like I don't. For one thing, I'm fat. I'll hook in the dirt just to kind of being a joke about that. But I I've very my
Dustin's not
bike.
lying though. There's a standing rule. You never line up Dustin. You never go up if Dustin's come. In fact, it's we've gotten so detailed with it that the only reason, and then I'm not saying nobody should be going up for somebody you don't know, but I'm just saying as far as it goes with me, I will never line Dustin up unless I see something on the track, and then
I've seen you
he
many
knows if I
times.
point him in a spot, it means there's oil on the track that I can see, and that
Yeah,
he has to go there. Otherwise, I
I,
just
I've seen you many times walk out on the track when I'm like getting ready to go out, and you'll look like out there, like 60 foot, just kind of out beyond the starting line, and then you'll walk over the wall, and then I
yeah
know the track's good.
yeah.
And if
That's
I
the
see
only
you
way I'm
stand
lining
there, I'm
you
like, oh,
up.
we're good, you know. And I mean, I'm a little different than a lot of people, so I line up. Some tracks I line up to the inside groove, on the inside, like closer to the tree. And some tracks I line up on the outside of the inside groove away from the tree. It all depends on the racetrack and all depends on
Uh-huh.
the situation. That's the university to win stuff. Some tracks I got to close one eye, but it
Yeah.
works. Remember that old story? Your
Oh
dad
yeah.
told you that one, and by George, that damn shit worked. It worked good. I'm just saying.
There's all kinds of stuff,
I'm gonna tell
intricacies
that
to
real
it.
quick. So this is gonna be your tip of the podcast right here.
Tip of the day.
So one time we were at a race and Ben was red lighting like crazy. And his
I
dad
don't even
walked up
remember
to
that.
him, and that's rare for being the red light, right? Like you just
Yeah.
don't like you like tight trees, like it's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But your dad was like, Ben, just close one eye, it'll slow it down. And I don't even know if you tried it. I don't even know if it worked for you or whatever. But it's always stuck in my head of hearing your dad tell you that. So I was at Huntsville and I was like 008 red, 006. It was just like so minor, and I couldn't do much more to like slow me down. So I was like, you know what? Last ditch effort. I'm going to try it. So I closed one eye, and it was the one that was like the furthest away from the tree, like depending on what lane I was in. Or no, the one that, yeah, I would open the
Wouldn't
one
it?
that was furthest away from the tree. I
That's what I was
closed the
gonna
one.
say. Wouldn't it make more sense to close the
Yeah.
one closest to the tree?
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway,
If I was
do
trying
it.
to implement that, is all I was saying.
And this was only for street ET there. Now, box racing, I was smashing it. I was on being that track like that. It has probably my most successful track recently. I done it, and I was like 009. And I'm like, well, I'm not stopping. And I think I had a lead of like 400 lights in a row, and my worst was a 16, and I was one-eyed Pete the whole race and won.
That's ridiculous,
dude. Like it was amazing. Like it worked, and I'll never not do it if I get desperate measures, And then the funny thing about it is a few weeks later, well, no, probably about several months later, Sonny Vic said he was at Brainerd and he was red lighting and he tried it and he goes, it works. I said, I freaking told you. I ain't gonna steer you wrong. I'm like, your old man had some knowledge on that and he wasn't wrong. And it was just us randomly trying stuff, like he was trying to help you. And I just I'll never forgot it. And I was like, oh, this is last ditch. I mean, there was a few other things I could have done that would have been more intensive labor to change. I'm like, I'm just going to try it. And it worked. And I'll always have that in my little goodie bag.
that is
tips.
pretty cool.
And we'll talk, I'm sure we'll go over little things like that if it ever comes up in the university to win. But there's a lot of factors, a lot of things you can do to change stuff. And that's just something that worked for me one weekend. It might not work the next time I try it, but it worked that weekend like a champ.
Yeah.
I was red every pass until I done it. So that was what I done. It might not have been the right thing, but it worked for me. I mean, I won. So not just a round, the whole deal. And, I don't know what it is about Huntsville though. And like the next time I went there, I didn't have to do that. Like as a person, you
could have changed.
Well, I mean, as a person, you change too, right? We've all been in the racetrack before where you just can't bust a grape, like you can't hit a tree, like everything you do is wrong. And maybe I went the next time and I was just more relaxed or tired or whatever,
Yeah, could have been any of that stuff.
Yeah, and it was that same weekend that we had the shootout. We had was box and no box shootouts, and that's what it was. It wasn't street ET. It was box and no box shootouts, and I had to race the box shootout winner. Like after we won our both sides, we had to like do the runoff or whatever, and it was Dalton Markham. And I told him, I said, if it ain't red, brother, you're in trouble. And John said, well, I guarantee you Dustin won't be womping it down there. Well, guess what happened?
He was womping Dalton.
I was trip zip in the final of the no box shootout.
Wow.
And then I was 004, I think, on Dalton or something like that. It was killer. And I was closing her up. I was closing her up down there. John wanted to bet somebody $100. I'm like, man, I'm not a big. I think it's bad luck to bet on myself when I'm racing, so I'll never bet anybody if I'm racing. I won't do it. I think it's bad luck for you to bet on me. I just don't like my friends betting on me. I just think it's bad luck.
I just hate it when I got two of my buddies up there having to race each other because then I can't bet. I love betting. I'll bet on you, which can't get many bets on you to be honest, but I try still.
Good. I don't want
man,
you
I've seen
on me.
Boo Brown on the starting line on a motorcycle at Rockingham yelling at some people over on the wall to bet that he was going to mess up whoever. I feel bad for whoever he was
I know
racing.
who it was.
Oh, actually, I do too, man.
Yeah,
I ain't
because
gonna
he
say,
was mad
man,
because
I ain't
Boo
gonna
was over
say
there
it.
betting.
No, yeah, but Boo was there, like, I mean, literally bike pre-stage talking about no, go on bet, like yelling at these people. If y'all been to Rockham, it gets crowded up there and everything. So that was the wildest shit I've ever
It
seen.
used to back in the My Rock days. It
Yeah,
was crazy. I remember basic classes like Street ET come out of the burnout in the later rounds, and you had to like just do a burnout and hope all these people moved so you could like continue your burnout.
yeah, hundred
And
percent.
and dude, that would pump me up. Like I don't know what it was about that. All them people holding money up above their head. I'm like, yeah, come over here and bet. I'm gonna do some work. I wouldn't bet on myself, but I was trying. You know what I mean? And I probably screwed it up. That's back when I wasn't no good. But
Did you
um,
see that thing where there's sorry, it just made me think they have like a app they're working on or building so that you can bet at the racetrack now. Have you seen that?
no.
Oh, dude, that's coming.
I seen the thing on Facebook that they shared about the CompuLink or whatever about blocking out photo cells or something.
No,
Ain't that
I'm
like
talking
so
about
1985? Like wasn't that like many years ago when the photo cells was a
uh
thing?
no, I mean it could still be a thing. I mean,
Uh,
I was glad to see that there's a that dude, that could be a whole nother subject. We'll have to say that for another night. But let's talk about that on another one.
all right, because I mean that's over my head. I'm a hillbilly. I don't understand what. I
Uh
mean I know the concept of the deal, but I don't know how to. I wouldn't know how to make that work. And now only time I think that's a big issue is them big $1 million races and stuff. That's when I think people would lose integrity for money.
oh yeah.
So, you know, when you're out here racing $1,000 win a street ET, you're not, you're not really gambling for a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I don't
Right.
think it's necessarily worth it. I remember when I
No,
was a
that's more of that
kid.
big money stuff for sure.
I remember when I was a kid, and I'm talking like 1997 ish. There was claimed to be a guy at our local track that was using one, and he was good, and he did win a lot. And I never heard if he was or wasn't, but he was good. I will say that. And I mean, I'm a type person that don't never say, "Hey, that guy's good. He's winning, so he's cheating," because I get accused of cheating all the time, and I know dang well I ain't doing anything but just doing my best, you know. And so I'm not that guy to like label that. And I get mad when I hear people say, "Well, they won again. They must be." I'm like, "Man, don't do that. Just because that
No.
guy's at the track working hard, don't be doing that." You
I
know.
mean, look, here's my thought on it. And like I said, we could take a whole episode on photo cells and
Maybe the next one we'll
fencing
get
and
into details
cheating
of
and
stuff like this.
yeah,
That'd be the good
cheating and
one.
stuff. But to me, it comes down to this. Yeah, I know it happens. Some places, some series, some events, whatever. Um, I can't worry about it. And when it really comes down to it, this is just a repetitive thing, and it's a mind game for the most part. So if you have a disciplined routine and have your equipment, top notch, and it's it's really simple when it comes down to it. You're just trying to run the same number and cut
So next
do the same thing.
episode, we'll call it "Who's Cheating Who," and that's what
Who's
we're gonna.
cheating, dude? That is a
Yep.
good thing.
Because really, if you're worried about this guy could be cheating, yours could be possibly screwing yourself. So
It does mess with you
yeah,
if you legitimately think somebody is. But as far as the bike stuff goes, it's I don't know.
yeah.
I've not seen anything. I feel like that stuff's more and like you're saying, like kind of big money car racing stuff.
The listeners, who wants to hear who's cheating who the next episode? I think that will be a burner. I've got a lot of stuff I would like to talk about. So I
We
think
can
that
do
would
it.
be a good one. That would
We
be a
can
good
do it.
one. I think that would be a real good one for us to talk about. And it sounds cool. Who's cheating who? When I
Oh,
was
well,
a
I
kid,
just like the name.
there was a car hat on the side of it. That's what made me think of it. So
Man, I'll tell you what. I don't know if this is going to be a good episode or not. I feel like we was all over the place, but hey,
we even had an intruder.
that's oh yeah, yeah. When my guys came in the shop, I'm not used to anybody come in here late at night. That's why I come over here. It's quiet and scared the shit out of me. So I might have to edit that out. Depending on what it sounds like. Anyways,
I just kept rambling. I was like, "Here's something going on." I just let me keep going.
well, honestly, I just figured you was talking anyways. I was like, I'll take a second, but no, I mean, I don't think I have anything else now. I figure we might as well end it while we're on a decent note, and then if it sucks, then we don't have to make people listen to it.
It is what it is. You only be required to pay $1.
Well, you're not even required. You can listen for free.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
thing. Yeah.
Some of y'all suckers are paying nothing.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you want to be in the giveaways, it's a minimum $1. You can give us 3, 4, 5, whatever. And you can do that on the website or on the
Man,
Patreon link.
Listen, y'all, just sign up. Just subscribe. What's $1? Come on. Like, it ain't all it's doing is just paying our website fees and all the crap we got to pay.
Honestly, that's why we're doing it. We're just covering the overhead on this stuff.
Yeah. We're having a good time. I mean, it's pretty fun.
Well, we put it at $1, and I told Dustin after a couple weeks, I didn't realize, it's only $1 for you, but we're really only getting if you pledge $1, we're getting like 65 cent because
merchant fees.
Yeah, it's a credit card fee and so on and so forth, which is not a big deal. Like I said, we're not planning on getting
what we're getting at is go hook us up. Go sub up for $1, man.
Sign up for $1.
I'm tired of asking nicely. Go sub, okay? Just do it.
Yep. So you can sign up on redhillracingpodcast.com. You can buy t-shirts there. You can sign up and subscribe on the Patreon link that we post, and everyone. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the above. And last but not least, shout out to the sponsors: BMF Components, University of Wynn, Night Marketing Group, Hard Times Parts and Service, Montgomery Motorsports, Manchester Mines, Platinum General Services, MTC Engineering, Penske Racing Shocks, and MPS Racing. I do have one more thing. Update on University of Wynn. Before we started recording tonight, I finally showed Dustin some of the website, and
it's looking nice, real nice.
All right, good. And
you know why? It's got my face on it.
It does. It does have
your face is on it too. You're pretty nice.
I'm on it a lot too, but I've been meaning I need to go through and pick out a bunch of all the winner circle photos. Anyways, working hard on that. It's taken me a little longer than I wanted, just because I'm learning some stuff, and not to teach y'all, but as far as getting this website put together. But,
it's a new what are they called? The website.
Well, it's a new platform for me to work on.
Yeah, he's not used to the platform, and he showed me some of the stuff on the back end, and I look at the back end of mine all the time, which is Shopify. And the one that he's looking at, man, that's way out of my pay grade. I'm out.
So I'm getting used to it. But that being said, excuse me, progress is going well. I'm working on it every day. No joke. I don't know if we'll be able to launch March 1st, just because I'm not going to put something out there for everybody that's not done and ready. But when it's ready, we're going to launch it, and just be on the lookout. If you want to get on the waiting list, go ahead and send us a message, send us an email, because we're only going to take 100 people.
It's going to come out
100 people ever, but we're going to cap it.
It's going to come out right at the peak time when racing season's starting, probably. Which is good, because you need to start working on your race stuff instead of the website a little bit.
100%. Well, that too, but no, I mean, I feel like the backup date originally I'd wanted, launch it beginning of March. I feel like backup date, no pun intended, would be like April Fool's Day, beginning of April. That'd give me another four weeks or so to work on it. So I feel confident we'll be launching it in the next, 4 to 6 weeks. How about that? But yeah, y'all be ready, because we're gonna do our best to make sure everybody's getting their value, and we're only gonna take up to 100 students for the first time being, and see what we can do from there. So
and before we sign off, I'm going testing Saturday to break in this motor and get rid of some stress, and it's almost time to go racing, boys. Boogity boogity boogity.
Oh, man, the fact that you're going testing this weekend and I haven't even changed the oil or looked at my oil it's kind of bad.
I'm so excited to hook my truck up to my trailer and just put my bike in it and know I'm going somewhere. I'm ready. I'm ready to hold them RPMs, toss a lever, lock a throttle, and plug that shift button 4 times.
Let's go.
I'm ready. Ready. All right, everybody. We appreciate you listening. Let us know what you think. Let us know about the who's cheating who. We can lock that in for the next one.
We can lock it in. Give us some ideas. Keep sending us info. Give us something good that we can get in and talk about.
When race season gets here, this is going to be easy. But right now we're like kind of running out of things to ramble about. Plus we've been struggling our own ways this past week and hadn't had any time to think about it. I've been just trying to stay alive. So,
dude, yeah, it's the same here. You know, I was worried I was going to be laid up in the hospital after last Friday. So yeah, this if this one's not what it's cracked out to be, sorry. We'll do better on the next one. We'll have better content for sure. We was all over the place. Dustin was trying to die from being sick, and I almost died in a car accident. So,
and one more sound button before we go. It's called deactivate. Have no idea what it's going to do.
Like logging into Windows. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, review, whatever y'all want to do. We'll talk to you all later.